that some people just don't learn. Now, with the arrest and subsequent convictions of the Crumbly parents, you would think that other parents throughout the United States would start to question their own parenting of their own children when it comes to potential for harm towards others. Now, obviously, most people are going to think, that's not going to happen to me. My child's not a killer. My child wouldn't do that thing. But what happens when there are clear signs that you should be concerned about your child's behaviours, and yet you still ignore them? Well, here we have another school shooting, another 4 people dead at the hands of a 14-year-old boy. And now we're discovering that in May of 2023, there'd already been flags raised about him making threats of doing exactly what he later did. Now, I think when we look at the overall picture, authorities could have done more before the day that this boy went into this school and destroyed people's lives forever. There were enough warning signs. But at the same time, we hear that his father's been arrested in relation to this same crime. Does he deserve it? In my opinion, hell yeah. I'm going to play the Bodycam footage from May of last year, from when police attended the residence of this boy and spoke with him and his father. I'm also going to play a video from his mother towards the end of this video, but then I'm also going to talk about why the father definitely deserved to be arrested, and why I believe the case against him is going to be even stronger than the case against the Crumblies.
Colin?
I am.
You want to step out where you can talk real quick?
What's wrong?
You got a son or something that uses, you know what Discord is?
No.
So we got a tip from the FBI saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions,
Yeah.
that made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir. And your name was associated with that address. So we went over to that address, and you weren't living there, so
Yeah, we live here. Let me get dressed.
Sure.
I need to apologise. I did look for the one with the best audio. Unfortunately, the one that I would have preferred had constant interruptions from the host, and as I'm doing right now, it just made it harder for me to have the complete interview without having to spend quite a lot of time stopping and editing parts out. So this is kind of the next best audio version of it. And I will say, for those of you who do want to watch the uninterrupted version, I will add the link for this Court TV video in the description section of my video.
Sorry, boys.
That's all right. Sorry.
I got up watching the golf tournament and sat back down.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah. So what? Tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living
Yeah,
here?
Colt Gray.
Colt?
Yeah, Colt. He's my oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
So play a lot of video games and stuff?
Yeah, he does. Like all the time.
Is he here right now?
Yeah.
But you think it's something you might have...
I damn sure want to know.
Can you talk to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I just wanted to comment on the body language from this guy. And I don't know if there's a cultural difference here, because I know there are some things that in Australia we do differently or perceive differently. But the fact that this guy was quite casual, now both these officers are standing up to talk to him, and he comes out, originally he comes out in his underwear, and then he goes and he changes into a pair of shorts. But he comes out with a can of, it looks like some kind of energy drink, and he sits there and quite casually opens this energy drink, and then he sits down. So to me that is in some ways a little disrespectful. That is him saying that he, straight up, he doesn't really value what it is that these officers are here to do.
Now look, he gonna get all red-faced when you talk to him. Just calm, all right? So him and his... Let me give you a backstory. So, we lived over traditions. I went to work one day. I'm sole provider, build high-rises downtown. So I get a call from one of y'all, so my family's in law enforcement. So when I get the call, I'm trying to think of the officer's name. Turns out, nicest guy ever. He's like, I just want to let you know I'm at your house. I'm like, for what? He said, y'all have been evicted. I'm like, no, I just paid rent. He's like, no. He's like, I'm going to stay here till you get here. So I drove all the way home. All in the front yard. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'll just let you know this is what's going on. There's people standing there with trailers. And I'm like, what are they doing? He's like, well, they're going to get your stuff after 24 hours. Is that right?
Now, it seems to me that by coming out with this story about them being evicted and the mother having to go and live with her parents with the two younger kids, yada yada yada, that he is already making excuses for his son. To me this says he knows that his son has done something wrong, and he's already making excuses for him.
I don't even know why y'all are here. So, long story short, I'm like, trying to figure out what's going on with my wife. She's in the house. So we split. Long story short, for obvious reasons. She took my younger two and went back home, lived with her mom. Colt and I rented a house and we came here. So we've been good, no problems. He struggled at first with the separation. All school was kind of so-so. So I've been up at school countless times just tracking with him, hey, make sure you're good. They understand what's going on.
He goes to Jefferson School?
He goes to Jefferson Middle School, yes, sir.
Now we get the Good Parent Act. Since he's moved schools and we've moved here, I've been to the school countless times, just keeping track of things and making sure that he's doing okay. I have different thoughts on why he was going back continually to the school, and I'll come back to that in just a moment.
So he's been doing really good. In the beginning he kind of struggled a little bit, but
Let me ask you this: do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
Are they accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are damn. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year.
Really? Okay.
So. I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you.
Well,
I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you, if that is what was said. But
well,
we've been up to school for so many times now.
The information I got was sort of incomplete. I don't know how old it is. And like I said, the original complaint went to your other address, or your previous address, and that's where we just came from. It wasn't them.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it wasn't.
I don't know if, and so we ran I had your name and date of birth, so
yeah.
That's how we got this address. So,
I mean, I swear to God, we've been up to school. I've been up to school, I'm on first name. I just was up there 3 days ago for his finals, talking to the principal, look,
yeah.
Make sure Colt's good. He gets flustered and under pressure. He doesn't really think straight. Can we just kind of put your arms around him, get him through up his grade. I just want to make sure he's good. Like, I mean, we're up there all the time talking to school. If you talk to that school, they'll know exactly who I am. I'll say that.
Okay.
I mean, because I'm up there that much, you know?
Checking in on him.
Yeah,
Sure.
I just want to make sure he's good.
Yeah.
So I'm a little taken back by the whole thing, but I can tell you this, I take that very serious, and so does he, as a matter of fact. You know, he's...
Say his first name's Colt.
Colt, C-O-L-T, yes, sir.
I mean, all I can do is ask him.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I want you to talk to him and just tell him. Like, I don't know, I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm going to be mad as hell if he did.
Okay, so you're probably aware I do have to make these interruptions because otherwise it's not fair use. I'm using their video. If I'm using their video, I need to be following the right protocols. But I do have some things to say here. And what I want to mention here is that I believe he is just simply talking the talk. In other words, there is nothing in his body language that shows me that he's remotely concerned about these allegations against his kid, regardless of whether or not he believes them. He's coming across as really blasé about it. Oh, yeah, he has access to guns, but they're not loaded. And he brushes that whole thing off. So, because they're not loaded, it's no big deal. And he says he's on a first-name basis with the school. He's trying to give the impression there that he's the responsible parent who takes an interest in his child's welfare at school. I'm pretty much willing to bet that he's been called into the school multiple times because of issues, perhaps. Because he just seems like a bit of a windbag, in my opinion. Someone who talks the talk but doesn't mean it. And even when he's saying to the police, well, you know, just tell him. Just you make sure you show him how serious it is. That to me sounds patronising. That to me sounds like him just being, well, I'm going to pretend that I'm supporting you on this 100%. But to be honest, after you've gone, the whole thing's just going to be forgotten. He may comment on it briefly to his son, but it's certainly not going to be something that is treated as a serious concern. I mean, he does say, I'm going to be mad as hell if he did do this, but nothing about his body language, nothing about the way he's speaking suggests to me that that actually would be the case.
And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you, I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how to do it all and get him interested in the outdoors. Mm-hmm. Like on my phone.
Get him away from those video games.
Exactly right. That's the God honest truth. And the picture on my phone is him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer. It was just the greatest day ever. Yeah, so he knows the seriousness of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them. So it's kind of
no need.
Okay, well that was the hollow claim, wasn't it? You know, if this is true, all the guns are going to go. We know that that didn't happen. And we'll talk about it a little bit further on as to what actually did occur. And him talking about, oh, you know, he shot his first deer, and I have a photo on my phone of him with blood on his face from the first kill. That actually makes me nauseous. This guy is encouraging his son. And I get it. There is a culture. People do enjoy going out shooting. It's not something that I particularly am in favour of in any way whatsoever. I cannot grapple with the idea of someone getting pleasure out of killing an animal. And yet here he is talking about how, you know, it was such a great occasion for them because that's what his son did. Here, the things he's saying here, to me, sound like him turning his son into a killer. And like I said, just because you take your kids out shooting doesn't mean that you're turning them into a killer. But this guy has just been told that his kid is talking about shooting out the school. And he's bragging about his son going hunting for the first time. And he's bragging about following some antiquated tradition that really should be just something that is a tribal tradition, not some white guy's bastardization of a tribal tradition. You know, that actually had sacred meaning for tribes in terms of when the young men in the tribe made their first kill. It wasn't about trophies. Anyway, let's move on.
It's kind of a little bit of a shock. So, in whatever y'all are telling him, please instill in him that if this is whatever or wherever this is coming from, it's no joke.
No.
Like, it's no joke.
Well, we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit.
Okay.
All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah, scary.
Hey, are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school, and is everything okay? That's why I keep going up there.
Yeah.
You know, because you never really know, and I don't want anything to happen to him. So, yeah, y'all.
All right, well, if you want to grab them,
yeah, y'all talk.
or we can go in. It's
Sounds all cool. Hang on.
So here he admits that the reason he's been going into the school because his son is being bullied. And to me, just reading his body language, listening to the way he talks, I can imagine him being the sort of parent who goes into the school, becomes quite verbal with the school and says, you know, my kid is being bullied, you've got to fix this now. And is not trying to come up with ways to support his child with the bullying, but instead he's himself being allowed and in some ways perhaps a bit of a bully. I find it super alarming that they're here talking about this serious thing, and he says, yeah, you know, we talk about school shootings and we talk about bullying. So it sounds like they've had conversations about kids who've been bullied and have gone in and shot up their schools. My question here would be, have you had serious thoughts about taking your child to a professional so they can have regular counselling? Because the red flags here are just phenomenal. And I think when this goes to court, I think a good psychologist or psychiatrist looking at this interview could probably just nail this guy just from this interview.
When the information came in.
These are good dudes. Just
Hey, Cole, what's going on, bud? So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Said something about shooting up a school.
Did you say something about school shooting?
Never, I just told him, I don't know what. Maybe they misheard somebody else. I would never say I was threatening. I was just
You never ever said.
no, I swear.
Do you use Discord?
Discord?
Yes, sir.
I used to. I don't have it anymore.
When's the last time you used it?
Like a few months ago.
Really?
Was it at Traditions or was it here?
No, it was a traditions because in that Discord account that I had deleted it
Before you moved here?
yeah, because I think it got like it had been password pulled or something. Like I had clicked on a link and somebody.
Have you heard anybody on Discord when you were using it say something like that? Remember?
Like at that time?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think I ever had anybody that.
Never.
Okay, it seems like unlike his father, this kid actually knows that what he's done is serious. He is rocking back and forth. He's having trouble with eye contact. But at the same time, he's denying it. Some other dude, it wasn't me, I never said anything like that on a Discord. And they're asking him, did you perhaps see or hear someone else say that on this Discord. And you go, no, no, no. So he's pleading ignorance to this. I guess you could interpret the hands in the pockets in some way as evasive behaviour, hiding your hands, yada yada. But then some people just, if you've got pockets, that's where you put your hands. So I'm not going to read anything into that in terms of body language.
I mean, I'm not trying to get anybody hemmed up, but like, this is some serious stuff.
Yeah, I know. Oh, he knows how serious it is, trust me.
I'd hate to, my boss was even like, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, no, I'd rather do it now, because
so would we.
Because God forbid something happened and I didn't do my job, I'd feel pretty bad about that. So I just want to make sure you understand that if something like that happened, or you hear something like that, report it. Tell your dad, tell teachers.
Like I told him, I would promise I would never say something like that.
So you haven't used Discord in a few months, and you're saying you didn't say anything like that.
No, the only thing I have is TikTok, but I just go around there and watch the videos.
Okay. All right, well, fair enough.
What's your birthday?
He's just going to do a little report saying that
We talked.
We've done in reference to this, and that we talked, and you saying that we didn't say anything like that. And I got to take you at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's
a serious thing.
It's not unusual for people to lie to police. Okay.
He's familiar with that, too.
Hey, Colin, what's a good phone number for you, sir? Okay.
How's school going?
Oh, it's going good here.
About ready to get done with it?
I actually already finished, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I finished.
When was your last day?
Today, Sunday, so Friday.
Friday? What grade you going into?
8th grade.
8th grade, almost high school, man.
Yeah.
The last 4 years, really, the last 4 years is what matters.
Yeah, so I'm just focusing on that.
Get them good grades, man. It'll set you up for the rest.
Yeah, so look, you all are welcome any time. We take it like dead serious around here, and I just want to make sure that I'd even feel better if you do find out what or where.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can somebody let us know? Cause
sure.
He's going to be full of anxiety until this gets resolved.
I know this audio is really not great, but hopefully you're following along with all that. But I find it interesting that he's now going along with the "my son is innocent" line of questioning. So he's like, well, I'd really like it if you could let us know when you get to the bottom of this. In other words, he's putting it back on them and making it sound like it couldn't possibly be his son. We're being as cooperative as we can. And this is, such a serious thing that it's going to cause my son so much anxiety. So if you can just get back to us and let us know that you've cleared him. I honestly believe that this guy knew that his son had done this, and that this is all just talking the talk, just to get rid of these police officers.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I've never really said something related to school.
So did you switch schools when you moved from Traditions? Where were you going before?
West Jackson.
West Jackson Middle? Okay. Is things a lot better now?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. That's good.
Let me grab you one. Can I walk through the grass? I'm going to grab a car real quick.
Yeah, it's all good.
Are you getting bullied over there at West Jackson Middle?
That's the thing. I wasn't back there. I wasn't getting.
Now look, be honest with him about that.
Yeah.
Now in middle school, I told him you were now, and that's
You getting switched out halfway through the school year, being the new guy?
Yeah, I'm being that while. We moved like 6 times already. So.
Well, my dad was a logger and grew up in the military. We moved a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, at the past schools, surprisingly, I had friends. Like, I didn't even necessarily have a reason that I would say that or anything.
Yeah. Well, there's always somebody you can talk to if you need to.
Yeah, sure.
School resource counselors.
Yeah, and I do talk to them. Yeah, I talk to the counselor quite often.
Okay.
Just, let her update her on, just how my life's going and stuff like that.
Yeah, start looking out and making goals for yourself.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You interested in anything? philosopher.
Yeah. It's kind of out there for me, but that's...
Yeah. Well, I mean, do what you enjoy. I mean, I did 20 years in the military. You don't have to settle on just one thing.
Yeah.
I did 20 years in the military, retired from that, and been doing this for 7. So you don't have to fit everything inside the box.
Yeah, that might branch out to different stuff.
No. We got guys at the sheriff's office. They're full-time plumbers, full-time police officers, and do what pays the bills. Do what they enjoy. But everything's going good.
Yeah, now yeah.
Well, look, Cole, I appreciate it. Your dad's got my card. If anything, if you hear anything, tell your dad. Okay? He's got my number. He can pass the info on.
It's serious. He knows how serious it is, and he'll, like I said, we'll have a long conversation here in just a little bit, and if something, it's a pretty traumatic thing that him and I both went through now. He was at school, I was at work, come home, and I mean, every ounce of what we had was under tarps and sitting in that yard. You saw it.
Yeah.
You saw the clientele, the neighbors that lived there. It was like fully embarrassing. So it was very traumatic for both of us. And living here, just us, is like, dust is finally settled. He's making good grades. So
that's good. We'll keep that up. That's important.
We'll start talking about traditions in West Jackson and just see if something jogs his memory like that. But certainly we'd like to know if you do find...
Well, my thing is this, so more than likely they track the IP address.
Okay.
And that's why we went to that address.
Okay.
Because the IP addresses are usually location specific.
Yep.
Within an area. So if it came from that house, then either somebody there is lying or the information is just so old.
Yep.
And, maybe it was something he heard or did on Discord months ago. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay.
So, but he's telling me he didn't. He's telling me he can't remember anything like that. And
Yep.
I take you at your word. Okay. If you look me in the eye and you tell me that's what you're telling me, I got no choice but to take you at your word right now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But like I was telling your dad, if you find out otherwise, then it's a different story. Okay.
It's a really different story. Okay.
Got any questions?
No, sir.
You have any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Now, obviously, as we get closer to the trials for both the son and the father, there's going to be more information coming out. But here's the kicker. You have this visit from the police in May of 2023. Now, they made it clear that they had traced these threats to an IP address linked with this child. So there can be no doubt whatsoever that he was the one making these online threats and saying that he wanted to go and shoot at the school. Unfortunately, this occurred in a state that does not have a red flag law, meaning that there were limitations on what they could do having received these reports. In my opinion, I think this child should have actually been taken into a police station and given a proper interview, because it was such a casual kind of interview that it really didn't come across as being anything particularly serious. Now, here's the thing that I think is going to convict the father, hands down. After all this, and after him saying, well, if this is the case, there's going to be no more guns, and he's admitted that his son had ready access to guns at their house, what did he buy for his son for Christmas? Yep, he bought his son an AR-15 rifle. So, sounds very similar, doesn't it, to the whole Crumbly scenario. Except that this guy bought his son a killing weapon. It wasn't just a pistol. This was an assault rifle, and one that has been used in multiple school shootings. Well, not that particular one, but a brand of rifle that has been used in multiple school shootings. Why did this father do this? To me, he's completely ignored the red flags here. He's not taken any of this stuff seriously. And the consequence? 4 people lost their lives, and countless others have had their lives changed forever. This truly is an example of bad parenting. Now, it was my intention just to do this one particular video and then not look at any of this again till the trials. However, I haven't got through everything that I wanted to discuss in this video. So I will do a separate video looking at what the mother of this boy said and looking at her experience prior to the shooting. So I guess in this video we've focused on the father. So I will do a video focusing on the mother, and then this is where that's where I will let it rest until the trial, because I don't want to just go into dredging up one thing after the next. Because to me, when that happens, that is taking attention away from the true victims. And these are the true victims here that you can see on the screen. 2 14-year-old students and 2 teachers who lost their lives. And to me it sounds like it could have been 100% avoided.